I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as the Humvee flipped end over end in the Afghan dust. My best friend's screams, echoing like a bad dream I couldn't wake from. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst was realizing, in those final, blurring seconds, that he'd rigged the brakes himself. All because I'd stumbled onto his dirty little secret of skimming funds from the unit's supply chain. And now, here I was, gasping awake in my old Brooklyn apartment. The year 2018 slapping me in the face like a cold splash of reality. My heart pounding not from the explosion, but from the impossible truth. I'd been given a do-over. A second shot at life before the deployment that sealed my fate. My name is Kinsley Harper, and in my first life, I was just a wide-eyed Army logistics specialist. Fresh out of Fort Bragg, convinced the world was black and white. Serve your country, trust your squad, die a hero, if it came to that.
Huh.
What a joke. That morning in 2018, I bolted upright in my lumpy twin bed, the faded American flag poster still tacked crookedly above my desk. The same one I'd stared at while packing my duffel for basic training a decade ago.
No.
Wait, scratch that. It was 2018, and I was 25 again, the scars from my future wounds non-existent on my skin, my dog tags dangling innocently from the nightstand. The clock radio blared some pop crap about summer love, but all I could hear was the phantom whine of incoming mortar fire. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing water on my face, half expecting to see the grizzled 35-year-old version of myself staring back, the one with the purple heart and the nightmares that never quit. Instead, it was me, pre-war Kinsley, sharp jawline, hazel eyes wide with that naive fire, hair in a messy ponytail that screamed small-town girl chasing the American dream. I gripped the sink until my knuckles whitened. This wasn't a dream. This was reincarnation, or rebirth, or whatever the hell you call it when the universe hits the rewind button on your obituary. And if it was real, then so was the betrayal. Captain Elias Eli Thorne, my squad leader, my mentor, the guy who'd pulled me aside after my first firefight and said, "Harper, you've got brass ones. Stick with me." Kid, he was the snake who'd sold me out. Not just me, but our entire unit, funneling black market cash through fake supply requisitions to line his pockets with blood money from warlords. The secret I'd uncovered? It started small, discrepancies in the ammo logs, crates of MREs vanishing into thin air. But when I dug deeper, hiding in the comms tent late at night, cross-referencing manifests, I found the trail led straight to Eli's offshore accounts. He'd been at it for years, ever since his wife's cancer bills piled up, or so he claimed in those whiskey-fueled confessions by the fire pit. Sympathy?
Yeah. Right.
By the time I confronted him, he knew I was a loose end. The accident on convoy duty was his masterpiece. Tampered brakes, a staged IED report to cover it up. My death got him a promotion, a quiet retirement, and enough dirty money to buy a McMansion in Virginia.
But now?
Now I was back, and the rage boiled up like napalm in my veins. I wasn't going to redeploy blindly this time.
No.
This round, I'd burn his empire down before it even started. First things first, I had to play it cool. No one could know the future me existed. I dressed in my old waitress uniform, faded black jeans, and a threadbare tee from Gino's Pizzeria, the joint in Red Hook where I'd slung slices to pay the bills before enlisting. Back then, I dreamed of officer school, of leading charges, not flipping dough. Funny how life circles back. The subway rattled me into Manhattan that afternoon, the August heat sticking my shirt to my back like a bad memory. Gino's was the same dive, checkered floors scarred from 1,000 spills. The oven's perpetual roar drowning out the hipsters arguing over pineapple toppings. My boss, Fat Tony with his perpetual cigar stub, grunted as I clocked in. "Harper, you're late. Table 5's a vet, give him the hero discount." On the house. Table 5, a grizzled guy in his 60s. Buzz cut gone silver. Faded tattoos peeking from under a Yankees jersey. He hunched over a menu like it was a mission brief, eyes darting to the door every few seconds. Something about him tugged at me, a ghost of recognition from my first life. Yeah, this was the moment. In the original timeline, I'd comped him a large pepperoni, chatted him up about his tours in Nam, and he'd slipped me a tip that led nowhere. But tomorrow? That's when the general showed up, all brass and bluster, demanding answers about a leak from my conversation. It was the spark that lit the fuse. The vet was Eli's father-in-law, unwittingly carrying whispers of the scam from family dinners. I plated the pie, extra cheese, just how he'd mumbled, and slid it across the scarred formica. "On me,
Sir."
for your service." He looked up, eyes crinkling in surprise, then gratitude. We talked Fallujah, lost buddies, the VA's endless red tape. He mentioned his son-in-law in the army, good kid, but the brass chews him up, and I bit my tongue to keep from laughing bitterly. As he left, tucking a crumpled 20 into the jar anyway, I felt the first thread of the web tightening. This pizza wasn't just food, it was bait. That night, back in my shoebox apartment, I paced the creaky boards, mapping it out. Eli was stateside now, climbing ranks at the Pentagon, schmoozing generals over steak dinners. In 6 months, he'd pull strings to get me fast-tracked into his unit. "Harper's got potential," he'd say. All smiles. Then the deployment. The betrayal. Not this time. I'd document everything, hack his emails if I had to, tail his meets with shady contractors. But revenge? It had to be surgical, American style, through the system, with a dash of vigilante flair to make it sting. No guns blazing, that was his game. Mine would be leaks to the press, anonymous tips to the IG, maybe even a viral tweet storm if it came to that. Sleep came in fits, haunted by the Humvee's flip, the crunch of metal, Eli's feigned horror as they zipped the body bag. Dawn broke gray and humid, and sure enough, as I brewed my shitty instant coffee, a knock rattled the thin door. Heart slamming, I peered through the peephole, a mountain in dress blues, for stars gleaming on his shoulders like accusatory eyes. General Harlan Voss, Eli's patron saint, the guy who'd buried inquiries into the fun skim before it even started. In my first life, he'd leaned on me hard, implying national security if I breathed a word.
Now.
He was here, a day early, because the butterfly wings of my rebirth had already fluttered. I cracked the door, chains still latched. "Can I help you?" MS. Kinsley Harper. His voice was gravel-wrapped in authority, the kind that made private snap to attention. "General Voss, U.S. Army. We need to talk about your conversation last night with Mr. Raymond Caldwell." The vet's name. Shit. It was accelerating. I forced a puzzled smile, channeling the innocent me. "The guy at the pizzeria? Look, General, I just gave him a free slice." "What's this about?" He didn't smile back. Stepped closer, filling the frame, his cologne sharp as gun oil. Caldwell's family has connections. Sensitive ones. What exactly did he tell you?
Bingo.
This was the hook. In the old timeline, I'd brushed it off. But Voss's visit spooked me into digging, right into Eli's lap. Now, I'd reel them in. Nothing much. War stories.
Why?
Is he in trouble? Voss's jaw tightened, a flicker of calculation in those steel-gray eyes. Not if you keep it that way. Uncle Sam appreciates discretion. Emmis. Harper. Especially from patriots like you. He slid a card through the gap, embossed. Official. Call if you remember anything. As he turned away, rain starting to spit from the sky. I pocketed the card and shut the door, leaning against it with a grin that felt feral. Discretion?
Hell no.
This was war. Round 2. And I was arming up. The days blurred into a frenzy of double life.
By day,
I slung pizzas at Gino's, charming tipsy brokers and dodging Tony's gropes. By night, I transformed into a ghost in the machine. My crappy laptop, relic from college, became my weapon. I started small, public records searches on Eli Thorne. Born in Scranton,
Pa.
West Point '05. Married to Laura Caldwell, Raymond's daughter, in 10. Clean record. Glowing evals. But I knew better. Using a VPN I jury-rigged from library Wi-Fi tutorials, thank you. Future me's crash course in OP-SEC. I fished his personal email. A dummy account posing as a VA benefits rep snagged his login after 2 tries. People never change passwords. Jackpot. Folders upon folders. Project Phoenix. Code for his skim mop. Emails to shell companies in Dubai. Invoices padded with ghost shipments. One thread. Dated next month. Outlined recruiting reliable assets for deployment. My name was circled in red. Harper, logistics whiz. Low risk. Low risk. The irony burned. I screenshot everything, stashing files on a burner USB hidden in my sock drawer. But exposure? Too soon. I needed leverage. Something to force his hand without tipping mine. That's when the controversial calls started whispering. Leaked to the Times anonymously?
Nah.
Too messy, Voss would squash it. Go public on X. Frame it as whistleblower gold? Tempting. But I'd be doxxed by dawn. Eli's goons at my throat.
No.
Smarter. Infiltrate. Eli's unit mixer was coming up, a networking barbecue for prospects at Fort Hamilton. I'd RSVP as the eager enlistee. Char my way in. Plant seeds of doubt. But to get there, I needed pull. Enter Raymond Caldwell, the unwitting pawn. I tracked him to a VFW hall in Bay Ridge, nursing a bud in the corner. Eyes on the muted Yankees game. Mr. Caldwell? Kinsley from Gino's. He blinked, then grinned toothily. Pizza girl, what brings you to this den of geezers? Curiosity. And maybe a favor. I slid into the booth, buying him around. We talk shop his nom ghosts. My fabricated family in the service. Then, casual as hell, your son-in-law sounds like a big shot. Ever worry about the pressure? His face clouded. Eli?
Nah.
He's golden. But the army. It chews good men. Laura worries.
Though.
Says he's distant lately. Buried in paperwork. Distant. Code for laundering. I nodded sympathetically. Sounds heavy. If you ever hear anything off, Off the record, I'm all ears. For Laura's sake. He chuckled. But something lingered in his eyes, doubt. Maybe. As I left, I felt the first crack in Eli's facade. Step 1. Sow paranoia. Weeks ticked by, the city pulsing around me like a beast unaware of the predator in its belly. Enlistment papers loomed. I delayed signing. Citing family stuff, but recruiters were sniffing. Voss called once, voice oily, thinking about that chat. Ms. Harper, opportunities await sharp minds like yours. Translation: join up. Or else. I played coy, then struck. At the barbecue, hazy with grill smoke and bravado, there he was, Eli Thorne, 32 and cocky. Khakis hugging his runner's build, laughing with suits who reeked of old money. Our eyes met across the lawn, and he sauntered over. Handshake firm. Kinsley Harper? The name rings a bell. Logistics. Right? Guilty. I smiled, all dimples and deference, while inside, I catalogued the wedding band, the faint scar on his knuckle from a bar fight I'd witnessed in the future. Her to the guy to know for supply runs. He preened, launching into war stories, embellished. Of course. I nodded, laughed, then dropped the hook. Ever deal with those shady contractors? Dad's buddy in Iraq lost gear to him. Sucks. Eli's laugh faltered. Just a beat. Paperwork's a bitch. But we handle it. Probe successful. As he wandered off, I cornered a junior officer, planting whispers. Thorne's evals are stellar. But I hear the books don't add up. The web tightened. Eli emailed me personally, recruitment bait, but laced with questions about Raymond. Family ties? Keep it clean. Harper. I replied sweet, attaching a doctored manifest I'd mocked up, slight discrepancies, enough to spook. Paranoia hit Eli like a gut punch. In my burner phone logs, yeah. I'd gone full spy novel by now, his calls to Voss spiked. Frantic voicemails about vetting assets. Good. Let him sweat. But revenge isn't just shadows, it's decisions that scar you. The kind that make you question if you're the hero or the villain. Mine came crashing down at Gino's. 2 months in, when Tony cornered me in the walk-in cooler, his breath hot with garlic and entitlement. Harper, you're distractible lately. What's eatin' ya? Boyfriend troubles. I shoved past, but he grabbed my wrist hard. Ease up, sweetheart. We're a team here. The old me would have frozen, apologized, clocked out early to cry in the alley. Future me? I twisted free, knee connecting with his groin in a move I'd learned from Krav Maga vids during insomnia binges. He crumpled, wheezing, and I loomed over him. Voice low, touch me again, and you're the one needing VA benefits. Word spread fast in Red Hook. Tips dried up, regulars side-eyed me like I'd gone rogue. Tony fired me on the spot, muttering about unhinged bitches. Unemployment loomed, but fuck it, this was freedom. No more grease traps chaining me down. I cashed my last check, sublet the apartment to a barista from the coffee shop next door, and vanished into the ether. Prepaid phone, cash-only motels upstate. A fake ID courtesy of a shady contact from my first life's black market runs, irony noted. From a dingy room in Poughkeepsie overlooking the Hudson, I escalated. Eli's Project Phoenix wasn't solo. Voss was in deep. Greenlighting shipments to prop up his own re-election fund, senatorial ambitions. The prick. I compiled a dossier, timelines, bank trails via public SEC filings. Even a grainy photo from a gala where Eli handed Voss an envelope under the table. Leak time. But not blind. I targeted the Intercept, Glenn Greenwald types. Hungry for military-industrial rot. Anonymous drop. USB in a P.O. box. Encrypted PDF with a Snowden-esque manifesto. The Brass Betrayal. How Heroes Fund Halliburton 2.0. The story broke on a Tuesday. Buried in the feed, but viral by noon. X exploded. Army scam trending. Vets posting rants. Pundits on Fox screaming fake news. Libter hit job. Eli's name stayed redacted. My gift. For now. But Voss's face was everywhere. Stonewalling pressers with that patented scowl. Baseless allegations. The Army investigates its own. Bullshit. Internal affairs launched quietly. But Eli went dark, deleted emails, ghosted socials. I tracked him to a safe house in Arlington, burnered GPS from his phone ping, stolen via malware I'd coded in a late-night frenzy. Python basics from online crash courses. There, under cover of a nor'easter, I broke in. No drama. Jimmy the lock slipped through like a shadow. He was pacing the kitchenette, tumbler of scotch in hand, TV muted on his own scandal. Kinsley? He whirled, spilling booze.
Shock.
Then calculation. Always the operator. What the hell are you doing here? Evening, Captain. I leaned against the doorframe. Casual in hoodie and jeans, a 9mm I'd borrowed from a pawnshop holstered at my hip. Controversial? Hell yes. Crossing from whistleblower to armed intruder blurred every line. But this was America, Second Amendment for the righteous. Or so I'd justify in the mirror later. Saw your name in lights. Or close enough. His eyes flicked to the gun. Then back. Charm mode. Look.
Kid.
This is bigger than us.
Seat.
Let's talk. I didn't sit. Talk. Like you talked to the brakes on that Humvee? Or how about the manifests you fudged? The buddies who ate bullets caused supplies never showed. He paled.
What?
You're bluffing. Am I? I tossed the USB onto the counter. It skittered like a grenade pin. Everything. Dates.
Accounts.
Voss's cut. Even the hit on me, your accident to shut me up. Silence stretched. Thunder rumbling outside. Then, the mask cracked, not denial, but pity. You don't get it, Harper. The system's rotten. I did what I had to for Laura. The kid on the way. You think one honest grunt changes shit. The kid. My gut twisted. In the future, he'd named his son after me. Kinsley Thorne Jr., a sick joke at the funeral. Does he know Daddy's a thief?
Eli lunger. Desperate. Sloppy.
I sidestepped.
Gun out.
Barrel steady on his chest. Don't. The word hung. Electric. This was the crux. Kill him. And I'm no better. Rotting in Leavenworth. Let him run. And the cycle spins. No worse. I had the evidence. Mercy was leverage. Here's the deal, I said. Voice steel. You confess. Full mea culpa to the IG. Voss too. Or this hits WikiLeaks at dawn. With your face unredacted. And I'll make sure Laura knows every detail. The whore in Dubai. The threats to her old man. He sagged. Defeated.
You.
How long have you known? Long enough. Lie. But it landed. We talked till midnight. His spiral after Laura's chemo. The first bribe just once. The addiction to easy cash. Sympathy flickered. Damn it, but I quashed it. Betrayal's a one-way street. By dawn, he was drafting the letter, me overseeing like a warden. Voss called mid-sentence, furious, demanding alibis. Eli hung up, face ashen. He's cutting ties. Good. I left him there, broken man in a storm-lashed rental, gun tucked away. Driving south in a stolen Civic, another gray area score. I felt the weight lift, but not clean.
Was I judge?
Jury? Executioner? The press ate up the confession leak. Eli's statement. Voss's resignation by noon. Scandals bloomed. Congressional hearings. DOJ probes. Vets cheered. Talking heads decried. Weak links in the chain.
But me?
I vanished deeper. Holing up in a Philly flop house. Watching from afar. Raymond called once. Voice cracking. Kinsley. Eli. He's gone. Shot himself last night. Wait, what? The news hit like shrapnel. Suicide note blaming the pressure. No mention of me. Guilt clawed. Had I pushed too far?
No.
He'd chosen the path long ago. Laura's interview on CNN, tear-streaked, defending him as flawed but loving. The baby, unborn in my timeline, now a widow's anchor. Twist 1. Voss wasn't done. A week later, feds raided my old apartment, subletter in cuffs, screaming about witch hunts. They traced the intercept drop to Brooklyn IPs. Paranoia?
Na.
Payback. Voss
Konrad
was outing me as the source to save his skin. I bolted west. Greyhound to Chicago. Cash dwindling. Ghosts nipping at my heels. There, in a Windy City diner nursing black coffee, the second hook sank in. A face from the past. Mia Reyes, my first life bunkmate, the one who testified Harper was unstable at the inquiry.
Wupna oli coverin Eliasaises.
She'd believed his lies about my PTSD episode causing the wreck.
Now.
She slid into my booth, eyes wide. Kins? Holy shit. It's you. Saw the news, Thorn case. You okay? Feigned surprise.
Mia?
What the? Yeah. Dodging drama. We hugged awkward. Old bonds fraying. She was civilian now. Nursing school dropout turned barista. But the questions came. You were close to Eli, right? Before the... You know. Close enough to smell the bullshit.
Slip.
Her brow furrowed. Over greasy eggs. It spilled. Her regrets. The unit's whispers post my death. I knew something was off. The logs. But Eli said it was above our pay grade. Bingo, complicit. Or duped. I tested. What if I told you I knew before? That he planned it. She froze. Fork midway. Planned what? The crash. Me. The words hung. Controversial as hell, accusing a dead man's ghost. But Mia's face hardened.
Not shock.
But recognition.
I
suspected. Found a memo once. Deleted. Thought it was glitch. Ally? Or trap. We schemed. Her access to old unit files. My dossier remnants. But trust? Shaky. America loves redemption arcs. But mine reeked of vendetta. Chicago's underbelly swallowed me whole, neon dives. L trains rattling like judgments. The lake wind whipping secrets off the shore. Mia and I holed up in her walk-up. A shoebox stacked with nursing texts and empty takeout boxes. Plotting like fugitives in a Scorsese flick. She was all fire now. The betrayal hitting her like fresh shrapnel. That fucker used us. All of us. We cross-referenced her salvaged files, hard drives she'd swiped from storage, against my notes. Patterns emerged, not just Phoenix,
but a web.
Voss's donors, Eli's cutouts, even a senator from defense committees in the loop. The controversial pivot? Go nuclear. Not quiet confession, but public trial. Expose the rot at a vets rally in D.C. Turn it into a spectacle. Mia balked. You'll get disappeared. Kins. Black sites. The works. But me? I died once. Fear was old news. Better a loud martyr than a silent ghost. Prep was gritty. Forged press creds. Burner laptops. Allies from online vet forums. Paranoid types who'd lost brothers to friendly fire fund frauds. We drafted the speech. Raw. Unfiltered. Calling out the brass betrayal as systemic treason. They send us to die for democracy. Then steal the body bag's worth. Inflammatory? Damn right. Fox would crucify me as anti-troop. MSNBC hail a hero. That's the American way. Truth as blood sport. Rally day dawned crisp. October leaves bleeding red on the mall. Thousands converged. Gold star moms with signs. Grizzled jarheads chanting. Politicians circling like sharks. I took the stage unannounced. Mic in hand, heart thundering not from fear, but vindication. I'm Kinsley Harper, I started, voice steady as a rifle crack. And I came back from the dead to tell you this. The men who lead us aren't guardians, they're grifters. Gasps rippled. I laid it bare. Eli's skim. Voss's cover. The Humvee's sabotage. Projections flickered. Redacted docs. Timelines mapping deaths to dollars. Crowd roar built. Cheers. Jeers. A few, traitor, shouts from suits in the back.
Mia flanked me.
Feeding slides. Her hand brushing mine solid. But then, chaos. Suits swarmed the stage. Badges flashing. FBI. Step down. Voss's parting gift. They dragged us off. Zip ties biting. But the cameras rolled, live feeds exploding online. Harper Truth trended. Memes of my rebirth quip, yeah. I'd slipped that in. Half joke. Half truth going viral. Holding cells smelled of bleach and despair. But Mia, cuffed beside me, whispered, we did it. They're panicking. Interrogation was a circus. G-man in a cheap suit. Good cop routine. MS. Harper. This is sedition. Names? Sources. I stonewalled. Lawyer up, pro bono from a ACLU shark sniffing headlines. Bail hearing. Media swarm outside the courthouse. Mics thrusting like bayonets. Kinsley, did you fake your death? Laughter bubbled. Close enough. Free on bond. But hunted. Voss lawyered up. Countersuing for defamation. But crack showed. Leakers in his office. Aides flipping for immunity.
Ellis, the?
Autopsy whispers pointed staged. Gunshot residue on both hands. A note too polished. Twist 2. Not self-inflicted, but silenced by Voss. Loose end tied off. Mia and I dug. Hacking his cloud backups, her nursing downtime well spent on cybersecurity certs. There, emails coordinating the hit. Voss to a contractor. Thorne's liability. Handled discreetly. Bingo. The real betrayal layered deeper. Voss wasn't patron. He was puppeteer. Eli the fall guy. Raymond, collared as accessory. His war stories unwitting bait to scout recruits. I visited him in county. Plexiglass between us. His face a roadmap of regret.
Kinsley.
I blabbed to Eli about you. After the pizza. Thought I was helping. The hook closed. You did. Started the unraveling. Forgiveness?
Nah.
But understanding, yeah. That stung. High tide now. Congressional subpoena. I testified in a wood-paneled hearing room. C-SPAN lights hot as desert sun. Senators grandstanding like it's theater. MS. Harper drawled a Texas drawl. You claim resurrection? Sounds like PTSD delusion. Laughter echoed. I leaned in. Call it what you want, Senator. But the docs don't lie. And neither do the dead. Scandal metastasized. Voss indicted. Empire crumbling in plea deals. But controversy peaked with my call, the one that split America. Post-testimony. A whistleblower from Voss's inner circle reached out. Dirt on Black Ops. Drone strikes fudged for contractor kickbacks. Expose it all? It'd gut the military. Cost lives. Maybe spark international blowback. Or bury it. Claim partial victory? Mia urged caution. You're not God. Kins. Some shadows stay dark.
I 24.
Leaked the op files to ProPublica, framing it as truth serum for the machine. Fallout? Riots at bases. Enlistment plummets. Vets divided, heroes versus homewreckers. Pundits branded me Kinsley the Wrecker, my face on milk cartons of public hate. Death threats piled up. Secret Service detail became my shadow. Yet, in the eye, a quiet win. Laura Thorne, Eli's widow, met me in a neutral coffee shop. Baby in a carrier. Eyes hollow. He wasn't always rotten, she said. Voice small. The cancer. It broke him. Handed me an envelope. Eli's real journal. Confessions scrawled in fevered script. Forgive him. I took it. Throat tight. Not yet. But maybe the boy. Little Kinsley gurgled. Innocent eyes on mine, future me. Unscarred. Cresting the wave. I thought it done. Voss in cuffs. Trials looming. My name etched in infamy's hall. But the twist that gutted me?
Mia.
That night. Post-leak euphoria. She cracked open a beer on her fire escape. City lights sprawling below. Kins. There's more. Her voice trembled. Pulled a flash drive. Files timestamped pre-my-death, her accessing Eli's system.
I
Helped him.
once.
Covered a transfer. Thought it was legit. Betrayal squared. My bunkmate. My rock complicit. Why tell me now? Guilt. And you. You're different. Like you knew all along. Her eyes searched, probing the impossible. I laughed. Bitter. Maybe I did. Gun from the pawnshop weighed heavy in my bag, forgotten relic. Controversial end? Pull it. End the cycle?
No.
America thrives on flawed allies. We fix it. Together. But doubt seated. As sirens wailed distant, I wondered, rebirth's gift or curse? The dead don't stay buried. Winter clamped Chicago in iron jaws. Snow muffling the city's roar. But my war raged on. Mia's confession hung like frostbite, numb at first, then searing. We'd patched the hole, her anonymous addendum to the leak, detailing her error, flipping her from suspect to redeemed source. Feds bought it. Mostly, her immunity deal came with strings, testify against holdouts in Voss's cabal.
Me?
I was the lightning rod, subpoenaed to every subcommittee. My rebirth tail twisted into tabloid fodder, Ghost soldier haunts the Pentagon. Public fractured hard. Blue check vets hailed me on X. Harper's the real patriot, exposing the thieves. MAGA diehards branded me traitor. She's ISIS plant. Mark my words. Protests swelled. DC marches for clean brass. Counter-rallies waving don't tread flags. I dodged eggs in Milwaukee. A pie in the face, ironic, in Detroit. Secret Service grumbled. But I ditched them twice. Once for a midnight run along Lake Michigan. Waves crashing like artillery. Screaming questions at the dark. Why me? Why back? To atone my first life's blindness. Or just spite. The climax brewed in a Virginia federal court. Voss's trial, a circus of suits, gavels, and gotcha moments. I was star witness, striding the stand in a borrowed blazer, heels clicking like countdowns. Voss glared from the dock. For stars stripped, face a ruin of jowls and jaundice. MS. Harper, his lawyer sneered. All Ivy drawl. You allege a vast conspiracy. Yet no proof of your miraculous return. Hallucination? Drug-fueled revenge fantasy. Objection overruled. I leaned into the mic, eyes locked on Voss. Fantasy? Try memory. I died in that Humvee. Captain Thorne's brakes failed courtesy of a socket wrench and desperation. Woke up in 2018. Same body. Same fight. Call it God. Karma. Uncle Sam glitch. Doesn't change the ledgers you cooked. Jury gasped. Gallery murmured. Voss shifted.
Sweat beading.
Cross-X. Planted doubts. My erratic history. The gun charge from Eli's safehouse dropped. But lingering stink. But Mia's testimony sealed it, tearful. Damning. I saw the memos. Helped once. Regretted forever. Voss knew. He recruited Eli. Broke him. Verdict. Guilty on all counts, fraud. Manslaughter. My death pinned as foreseeable. Conspiracy. Sentence. Life. No parole. As marshals cuffed him, Voss lunged verbally. You think this ends it? Harper, the machine grinds girls like you to dust.
Outside.
Catharsis hit. Cheers from supporters. Rain washing the steps clean. But the twist, the gut punch finale, unraveled that night in a safe house. Courtesy of Raymond's last plea. He'd plea bargained light. Out on house arrest. Summoning me to his Scranton bungalow. Frail now. Oxygen mask hissing. He pressed a box into my hands. Eli's effects. Unburned. Read it.
Girl.
Before you judge. Alone by lamplight. Pages yellowed. Eli's letters to Laura. Pre-scam purity. Then. The slide. Cancer bills. Voss's opportunity. One job. Eli. For the family. Desperation scripted. My name entered as asset to watch. Final entry. Post-confrontation. Harper knows. God help me. I can't stop. Forgive me. Son, if he lives. Tears blurred, not for Eli, but the man he'd buried. Little Kinsley Thorne. In this timeline, born healthy, Laura vowing to raise him right. Away from the uniform. I visited once. Anonymous Annie dropping books on his doorstep. His giggle through the mail slot? Balm on old wounds. Kinsley's life? Mine forked wild. Trials wrapped. I cashed a book deal. Memoir titled Second Tour. The Reborn Soldier's Reckoning. Topping charts. Hollywood sniffing for rights. Controversial cash. Donated half to vet funds. Kept half for a cabin in Montana. Off-grid peace.
Mia?
We drifted close, partners in shadow. Her nursing gig funding our quiet watches on new scandals. Lovers? Maybe. Scars bond deeper than silk. But the end?
Nota y dibao.
America churned on. Reforms passed. Half measures gutted by lobbyists. I caught Voss's glare in news clips. Unrepentant to the grave, heart attack. 23. My rebirth became legend. Whispers in barracks. A tattoo trend among grunts. Phoenix rising from pizza boxes. One dawn. Hiking the Bitterroots. Sonrisekiting Bex. I paused at a overlook. The Humvee's echo faded, replaced by birdsong. Had I won? Betrayal avenged. Secrets exhumed. But the cost, friends fractured. Trust torched, lingered like smoke. Controversial truth. Revenge heals nothing. It just clears the path for whatever's next. Back in Brooklyn for a Geno's nostalgia run. Tony long gone. New owners slinging gourmet folds. I comped a vet's pie. Young kid. Fresh from Kandahar. Eyes haunted. Thanks.
Mom.
Rough out there. Tell me about it. I slid him my card, not General's, but mine. Kinsley Harper. If you see funny business,
Call.
we're watching. He nodded. Gone into the night. The door chimed shut, and I smiled, fierce, unbroken. Reborn not for hate, but to guard the line. In America, that's the real fight. One slice. One stand. 1 second chance at a time. Epilogue whispers. Years on. Little Kinsley enlists clean army now, writes me. Aunt Kay. Dad's story? Yours saved me from it. I reply. Kid, we all get do-overs. Make yours count. And in the quiet, I finally sleep sound. The dead rest, the living burn bright.